Tone Deaf is the journey of a theater nerd, bringing musicals into the life of their musically challenged spouse.
This show is rated explicit for mature content and strong language.
I'm sorry for me.
Spoilers are in every episode, so if you haven't seen the show we are reviewing, you can always check back in later with us.
We'll be here when you get back.
Confidant, good and gland pull and lament, aggregating friends, you wanna kill a moon tyrant? Come on and kill a moon tyrant. Wayne go, gestures incognito. If felt, just consume a warm burrito. World remains in a spell of absurdity. Life gone mad, Genesis molded from clay. Ambulate mountain with haste, snap gesture melt into paste. Afterlife restore and melt papillae. Dead as moan, cup attainable, answers obtainable, your will increased for good. Archaeologist Prentice Hood, join Wayne and kill Lord Gibulus. Respite world recover from absurdity. Regicide bonding, or that's what they say. Aim for moon space shuriken, hollow pleather ablative. Order brought to chaotic world of clay. Blue orphan endling of your kind, skulls ambulate underground. Fate and meshed end intertwined, join Wayne, Lord Gibby must be discrowned. Azure, one leech, flesh cleaved to yours, gauntlets grabbed and refound. Azure, one don't neglect to smash bugs for might. Dread night, leave your vault, channel lightning bolt. Ancient one exalt, let us join and obliterate Lord Gibby. World gone mad, but not as all as it seems. Gain clean status, grind the meat. Hylium restores brief defeat. Together upend the absurdity. These Hylics, creatures of flesh and will, catlinated, world chelated. All Hylics, respite from death fulfilled. In the Hylium, restore your cations. Slay Gibby, revive and do not quit. That's it. And reveal your true grit. Everybody's got a plan to kill Gibby. And maybe blow the moon them to smithereens. Clawman, foothead, mono-ops, slay them, then collect what drops. Everybody needs more lucidity. Usurp and this spell of absurdity.
Welcome to Tone Deaf, a theater nerd's guide for their musically challenged spouse. I'm Kay, a musical theater nerd.
And I'm Warren. I'm musically challenged.
So, you may ask yourself,
How did we get here?
thank you. Why have you been away?
No, how did we get here? I have amnesia.
Oh,
We're now in a soap opera.
Well,
¿Por qué?
¿Por qué?
We have pork?
God. So, you may ask yourself, why have you been away so long? Well, this multi-part episode is partly why, as it led up to why we're back, and what helped us get back.
To the future.
To the future, to the current, to the present, to the
Realms
somewhat...
between those both seen and unseen.
Yeah, to the state of somewhat stable despite everything. So for those of you who have been listening to the show for a long time, you might remember the reason for our first big hiatus. And gonna kind of be a little bit of a downer right now. But on September 4th, 2021, we lost Warren's stepfather to suicide. We were completely shaken and devastated, and honestly, like, the fact that we are getting through this part without crying is a testament to the next part of our hiatus story, somewhat, sort of, temporarily working. Because when we finally started getting to, what we were wanting to be some kind of semblance of normal, we both realized things were not right. I was having nightmares every night again, and Warren was having his own struggles, so we ended up getting recommended a therapy that kind of helped us meet our deductible, called TMS, or transcranial magnetic stimulation, which is like a brain massage. If you are ever in a situation where you can get this therapy, do it. I think that it should be on every street corner personally, but that's just me, and my opinion is law and correct and accurate.
That's what I've been saying this whole time.
But during TMS, Warren's sister was a much-needed balm while our brains were recalibrating, and she would come over and visit us every Sunday and would watch video game playthroughs. Specifically, playthroughs from a certain Vincent Vinesauce, or Vinny Vinesauce. Now, there are many games that we watched that we absolutely enjoyed, but two in particular grabbed my brain specifically, rather unexpectedly, and went, the music and animation and everything about it is going to be right where the dopamine and serotonin are, so prepare for a level 11 autism event, motherfucker. So that's why the next couple of episodes are kind of going to be love letters to a certain series of video games. It's going to be the music, the creators, the fucking musical that will not let go of my brain, no matter how hard I try to redirect it. Anyone who follows us on social media has seen my Spotify Wrapped for the last 2 years. And, yeah, so, ladies and gentlemen, non-binary fellows, fellow creatures in human masks, without further ado, let's talk about Hylics. So, a lot of the information for the next couple of episodes is going to come from... Yes, Warren?
I can't believe I haven't thought of this joke before, but if LSD ever becomes legal, a brand of LSD lollipops called Hylics.
Oh my god.
I mean, that probably already exists for like one of the non-LSD based drugs that are legal in various parts of the country. But if somebody doesn't already have Hylics as a brand, it's mine. You can't have it. I will find you.
So I don't think it has. And now I'm thinking of Schedule 1.
Oh, yes. I don't think you can make lollipops in that, but that would still be great.
Yeah, have a version of like a weed strain or something called Hylics.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so like I said, a lot of the information for the next couple of episodes is going to come from the Hylics wiki, videos by Harry But Harry on YouTube, various Instagram live and YouTube live streams, some conversations with the devs and composer. But the Instagram one, by the way, has comments that fucking killed me dead. I was cry laughing while working on stuff. But I do want to direct folks to the amazing videos put together by Harry But Harry on YouTube that go really in depth into Hylics, as well as a bunch of other games. Right now he's doing a lot about Deltarune. But I'm not going to be going into as much depth since our scope is normally musical theater. So if you want to know even more about Hylics, please check out Harry But Harry. And then I guess you could say that this is going to be a theater nerd's guide to a very unique video game, but also they are not as video game minded as they are theater minded, so this is a primer for other theater minded folks to say, at the very least, watch a playthrough of this game, if not to understand the musical, then at least to appreciate the artistic vision. But that's going to be one hell of a title, so...
It is a bit of a mouthful.
Yes. That's what she said. Anyway, Hylics is an artistic masterpiece created by Mason Lindroth. It was released on Itch.io on August 7th, 2015, and then on Steam on October 2nd of the same year. Which, October 2nd is one of those days where I'm, like, not super into numerology and shit, but if I had a nickel for every property that released on October 2nd that also rewrote my brain and triggered autism, I would have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird it's happened twice.
I was gonna ask. Good to know. Good to know there's a dime.
Yes, the other one being Peanuts.
Oh.
Yes.
Like Charles Schultz Peanuts?
Yeah, that released October 2nd, 1950, and Snoopy's debut was October 4th. Anyway. The video game is created on RPG Maker, and it's one of those games I point to now where I say video games are interactive art pieces. The music, art, animation, programming, all of that was done by Mason Lindroth for the first game. The first game took 3 years to make, whereas Hylics 2 took 5.5, and we'll get into that when we talk about Hylics 2 next episode. So Mason got into game development after college. It wasn't his expected career path. He wanted to focus more on figure and life drawing and animation. His first games were for Ludum Dare, or that might be Ludum Dare. Again, theater person, not video game person. But after playing Yume Nikki, he got into RPG Maker and wanted to make something like that. From the Instagram Live around the time of Hylics 2 release in 2020, Mason was quoted as saying, "I like to do manic sculpting marathons and made the characters from Hylics in a day or two." Which, I see the expression.
Well, I'm trying to figure out how to make a stupid joke involving man and manic, like manic making man, you know, like something, but it wouldn't materialize.
That is okay. By the way, one fun fact from the Instagram live stream is that Wayne's blood type is Moon. Which will make sense when y'all get into the game.
I mean, it should be
Sort of.
lunar.
Fair.
Would he be lunar negative, lunar positive?
I mean, he's waning, so negative?
There you go, lunar negative.
I don't know. That might be another question to ask. But so the first game is very experimental in both design and storytelling. The dialogue, for the most part, is randomly generated text, though few characters are coherent. And that is explained lore-wise in Hylics 2. Some of the art style was inspired by a game called Cosmic Osmo and the Worlds Beyond the Mackerel, specifically the dithering effect that the game has. Again, will make more sense when y'all watch it. The name Hylics referred originally to the mindless beings that are the NPC characters. In the Instagram Live, Mason talked about looking automaton in the thesaurus and hitting on Hylics, so it's not a Gnosticism thing before anyone asks. Also, I love that Mason goes to the thesaurus for these things. Dude, such a cool person. Oh my god. But holy fuck, there's so much depth in these games. It's going to be more obvious in the second game, but your protagonist in the first two games is kind of putting off the progression of time. Which, again, makes sense in the second game and the musical.
That's right,
Latte. So, the animation is a blend of stop motion and film, with the death animation in the first game being done by hand. Yeah. Really? Oh.
What? Oh my goodness. You have some strong opinions about Hylics, don't you?
You do.
Yeah?
Yeah?
Do you have any questions for Mason? No?
Do you have questions for Chuck?
Do you just want to be vocal? Well, there's a sass button in the office.
There is indeed a sass button in the office. Let's see. So, the animation is a blend of stop motion and film, with the death animation in the first game being hand done, and the music and gameplay complement each other kind of like a dance, even more so in the second game. Again, I can't get over how just mind-blowingly beautiful this game is. That's right. The character Samsnosa comes from a drawing Mason did as a toddler. He was trying to write his name and instead wrote Asmonsnus. Asmosnas. When he was doing game jams, he did anagrams of the name, including Samsnosa and Manasso, and in something else that made me go, Mason, you're a kindred spirit. He uses a ton of medieval words, a lot of random words, a lot of scientific names in his writing for these games. Like, there are going to be things in both Hylics 1 and 2 that got me so excited because I was like, I know that word.
You know, that does make sense on why it sometimes feels both scientific and archaic with the word choices. I didn't know using, I mean, now that you mentioned it, it makes sense, but
yeah,
you know.
It's for things that we'll talk about later, it really has been enriching to me. Very enriching discovering this game. And
it's been a blood pumpkin?
It's been a blood pumpkin. So like when you go to the zoo around Halloween and they toss a pumpkin that's filled with like blood and meat and stuff into the tiger cage, or if you're playing like one of those dinosaur games and you give dinosaurs, that is what this has been for me for two years.
Just gnawing on a blood pumpkin.
Just gnawing on a blood pumpkin. So yeah, I love this game so much. I love this game and I love this world. But anyway, Warren actually did play this game.
It's true.
I am not going to admit how many times I have played it, but Warren...
enough to be able to guide me expertly so that I got all of the secrets, and, yeah.
The second game I've played even more, so you'll really have an easy time with that, but, Warren did play this game, so we're going to take a quick intermission so he can gather his thoughts about it. Then we'll be back with what Warren's thoughts were on playing Hylics, the story, there is one, I swear, and just talk about experiences we had playing it. Folks can watch an edit of Warren's playthrough on YouTube on our Tone Deaf Musical channel, and I'll link that in the podcast description.
You'll have to see it to believe it.
Yes, you will, and it's delightful. I love this game. Anyway, shall we go?
Let's do it.
Woo! Hey, Warren.
Hey, Kay.
Do you know what time it is?
Is it time to talk about our favorite people in the whole wide world?
It is!
Woo! We'd like to thank our stage crew sponsors, Jasmine Wu, Jeff, Tyler McCarty, and Shamick.
And our producer circle sponsors, BeAnucci, Taylor Brandt, Jesse, and Cookie. Thank you all so much for your continued support of our show.
We truly appreciate it.
Dr. Petronella Sage is brilliant, headstrong, curious, and passionate. She never uses 5 words when 10 will more fully explain her thinking. Sage is determined to gain the respect of her masculine peers, but more than that, she wants to do something that will make a real difference for the scientific community and the world. It is this drive which leads to her reckless and even life-threatening behaviors. A laboratory accident ends in the doctor discovering time travel, which she dubs transmigration. The tales of Sage and Savant follow her exploits, alongside friend and faithful companion Erasmus Savant, into the mysteries of death, consciousness, and all of time and space.
The irony of man's condition is that the deepest need is to be free of the anxiety of death and annihilation. Ernst Becker, American cultural anthropologist.
Death is no barrier to science. Dr. Petronella Sage, galvanist, transmigrationist.
The Tales of Sage and Savant is a twin-star production brought to you on the first of each month from our Southern California studios. Our tale stars Eddie Louise as Dr. Petronella Sage, Chip Michael as Professor Erasmus Savant, Emily Riley Pyatt as Mix Abigail Entwistle, and myself, Justin Bremer, as your humble narrator.
And now, the lights are going down and the music's starting back up, so let's head back to the second act of our show. So, what did you think of Hylics?
Buck wild, man, is basically what I feel like I need to say about it. Yeah. I I didn't think that I would take as many notes as I did, given that I played through it and lived it and everything, and then your wise brain was like, hey, maybe you should, take some notes on it. And I was like, oh, I'll just talk about it. Then I started trying to write out something to say about it and was like, oh, Kay is right.
Yes.
I don't think I can really give a synopsis about it. I have to do it in the Warren way, meaning unnecessarily complicated and full of stupid jokes.
I mean, it works. It works for Hylics, because it is very complicated, but also simple, but also absurd. But also, I don't know, it's an artistic dream.
It is artistic as fuck. I am consistently, through playing it, because I've seen it before, but then also playing it, consistently impressed with the imagination that went into it. Even if I didn't fully understand what was happening at any given moment in time, still can tip of the hat and impressive and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it rhymes.
Yeah, and inspirational as hell. Because I know for me, like, it's gotten me, I mean, first off, it's got me doing a project. Second off, it's got me adding it into my weird little, hyperfixation crossover things.
I actually have 6 pages of notes.
Holy fuck, babe.
In order to not tread on things that I have to say, or that I have ready to say, how about we go through that, and then we can talk about other stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so Hylics, the 2015 RPG Maker indie video game. Hylics is a game in the classical turn-based RPG sense. You wander around in an overworld, encounter enemies, go into battle scene, do battle, collect rewards, throw parties, take naps, repeat. Pretty standard stuff, really. Hylics takes that tried-and-true formula and forces it to make sweet, salty love with many cans of Play-Doh. And from their own holy union spawns a surreal and scowampusy adventure about Wayne. About Wayne, the crescent-shaped moon man in a leather jumpsuit, and his inexplicable desire to destroy Gibby, king of the moon. But you won't hear the mainstream liberal media talking about moon-on-moon crime.
Oh my god.
I'm not saying it's a pro-sun agenda, but I'm thinking it and heavily implying it out loud while I transition into this next line of my script. Anyways, the game is introduced by our narrator, Dracula, who speaks in absolute nonsense and gibberish, introducing us to this insane yet compelling universe and casting us into the role of the mighty Wayne. So Wayne, you, me, us, we are Wayne, and we materialize in the basement. That joke's gonna get real old real fast. We materialize in the basement of a house with a TV, a briefcase, a blue crystal, and a moon-shaped pussy.
What?
Cat. K.
Oh my god.
Moon-shaped pussy
Warren.
cat. Sorry, for a moment there, I forgot that I had a tongue and could speak. Anyways, Wayne, you, me, us, that Wayne, we spawn into this world in what I assume is some far future post-calamitous version of the United States. Why the United States, I hear you ask? Because Wayne spawns into this world with 53 resource certificates and a gun with no bullets. So really, it's a handy-dandy short-range face smacker, since there's no pew-pews involved. I mean, can you name me anywhere else on this country that you're born and immediately given a gun? It's like, here's your birth certificate, here's the bill for your birth, and your gun.
That's fair.
Anyways, cash and guns aside, we, you, me, Wayne, yes, that Wayne, we, Wayne, through the magic of televisions, are able to use TVs like spellbooks and facilitate the important transfer of knowledge, valuable knowledge, in the form of pseudo-spells called gestures. You, the player, Wayne, yes, that Wayne, use these intricate hand motions to do things and stuff, like ablative holopleather and hypno-sigils. No further explanation necessary, I think. In typical RPG fashion, you have stats like health and magic, but here they're called flesh and will. Equipment and items are replaced by instruments and things, and while things like pistols are instruments for smacking, vegetables and burritos are things for consuming. Except frozen burritos, those are for smacking foes upside the head, or for throwing into a microwave and making warm to then consume and restore flesh. Trash can lids are shields, toilet paper is armor, and you know how it goes when you mix LSD and Play-Doh. Anything can happen. Man, I'm just realizing how awesome my early childhood was.
What? Hold up.
Anyways.
No wonder my mom wouldn't let me go to that daycare.
I may or may not. Let's see, does the Fifth Amendment exist in the Hylics universe? I don't know.
I don't think any amendment. I don't know. I mean, we'll get more into the government, kind of. Not really in the next game.
Yeah, I would imagine monarchs are not typically fond of you not incriminating yourself. Anyways, Wayne, equipped with everything that wasn't nailed down, we do that thing that you can do in classic top-down turn-based RPGs. You walk to the edge of the screen and go somewhere else. Like that first city that you can go to that has a random name every new game. So I could call it Ball Gargle, and you wouldn't know if I was telling the truth or not. Anyways, Wayne ventures to Ball Gargle, where we get the first real sense of both how normal and abnormal the game is. There are NPCs, non-player characters for you non-gamer folk out there, you know who you are, and these NPCs say a bunch of garbled nonsense, unless they're merchants, in which case they offer to sell you things to either eat or murder with. Pretty standard RPG stuff, really. Eventually, you'll be told that you have to go to the mountain to the north of you, where you'll encounter the first member of your fledgling party, the adorable dandy bug plant person, Dedismoln, who is an archaeologist and very excitedly studying the relics of the past.
One of the best characters.
And pondering on the possible uses of big coolers filled with clear fluid and how to pour them into handheld vessels for consuming, perhaps to grow stronger in typical RPG fashion. My foreshadowing was done masterfully, dear listener, and I hope you appreciate it, because that's exactly what you do. After slaughtering a bunch of random cone-headed cultists roaming around on the mountain, you use Dedismoln's sleeping bag to enter a dream space where you talk to a giant brain called the Sage of Brains, who gives you a token and then tells you to go forth and find the other sages and get their tokens. For that is the key to enlightenment. Materialism. I mean, if you're made out of clay, that's about as, it's very material.
Hylics. Material.
Material.
Yeah.
What does Hylics mean again?
So it's both a synonym for automaton, but it's also I think it's the material form or something in Gnostic. I'm not Gnostic, but it's part of Gnosticism as well, but that wasn't what Mason was thinking when he picked Hylics as the name.
But Hylics is a synonym for automaton?
Yes.
Interesting. After walking, you dig up a paper cup, and you're able to lure Dedismoln into your lunar killing spree, and the solo becomes a duo, and the adventure opens up.
I have to say, I love that you get this archaeologist in your party, and it's just, I'll join you and we'll find relics, and then immediately it's like, we're going to go on a killing spree and kill the king.
Oh, dude. There will be paper cups aplenty that you can use to fill with the blood of the king.
I was not thinking that we would be committing regicide today, but I'm here for it.
I'm so here for killing a king.
So incredibly stoked.
But as mentioned, the solo becomes a duo, and the adventure opens up. The afterlife mostly because I got too penisy liquefying cone cultists and was liquefied myself, revealing the post-death mechanic of this RPG, the afterlife. Because death is a natural part of progression in this game. When you die, you take the meat that you harvested off of your foes during battle and put it through a literal grinder in order to add the strength of that meat to your own weak but ever-growing stronger flesh. Anyways, in the afterlife, there are teleport crystals that you can use to return to key areas of the world you have previously visited. Attentive listeners will remember there was a crystal in the basement. We, me, you, us, Wayne, yes, that Wayne, the basement Wayne spawned into. Well, even more attentive listeners with latent psychic powers who already have played the game / watched the YouTube playthrough will know that there is also a crystal at Dedismoln's nerd camp, excavation site, and that's the crystal that we use to return to the land of the living and resume our murderous RPG adventure. And by resume, I mean we, you, me, us, Wayne proceed to slaughter all the enemies that we can until the mountain is a desolate landscape devoid of all clay-based life, except for the wandering TV with legs that teaches you the gesture space shurikens. After leaving the mountain, we venture to what looks like a postmodern art museum masquerading as a computer room, where we quickly learn that we are not strong enough to fight all the faces here, and instead we have to run and do a thing called warp, which takes us to a different place, where we wander around, see some clay bugs that are not aggressive, cross a bridge, and then go into a yellow house where a dude in a cat mask is crawling on the floor around an indoor campfire,
meow,
accompanied by another weird NPC who offers to let us use their spare bedroom to sleep and recover, should we need, which we do, and so we do. You, me, us, Wayne, and party sleep and restore our flesh and will before not leaving a tip or making the bed and tracking mud all throughout the yellow house before leaving. Heading north, ascending some stairs, crossing another bridge, avoiding a horrible abomination of tentacles roaming around the landscape that Kay tells me not to fight yet, which I wisely listen to, before we head south across another bridge and enter a random house and meet Samsnosa, who seems to know us, even though we, you, me, us, Wayne, have no idea who this person is. Samsnosa tells us that they left their magic gauntlets in the basement, which is infested with instant death touch ambulance skulls, which we avoid like a boss. is what I would like to say, but no, we die here a few times like a complete loser, watching our flesh melt off our bones over and over again in a perceived mockery of our mortal toil. After a couple of trips to the afterlife, we do triumph, find the gauntlets, and the secret item Kay pestered me to die over and over again trying to collect. We also bought some roach food and acquired a paper cup before dying again because death is meaningless. We also got stuck on a pussy.
Warren.
No further explanation necessary.
God.
And after leaving Samnosa's ambulant skull-infested hellhole of a home, we murder a couple of folks for their flesh on our way to murder a horrid projection! Be activating a MacGuffin, and then moving on. We traipse around on the overworld and rest up again at the stranger's yellow house before warping back to the computer room and, doing the time-honored RPG thing of murdering everybody in the room in order to harvest their flesh and loot so we can grow stronger. After some snaptacular dance battles, we leave the computer room and are forced into a cutscene where our narrator Dracula ushers in Act 2. With more gibberish about biscuits and impeding the ocean, we impede the ocean by boarding a boat and sailing around the archipelago, listening to Kay as they guide me like an oracle, predicting the future and the path that I must tread to achieve my goal, that being to add the final potential member of our murder party. We must also buy some squirrel food. Even though that squirrel food cost us $2,000, it did us no good in talking to our new potential friend Pungorma, who just so happens to be the greatest of the Dread Knights of Yithorn, and who also does not eat squirrel food, possibly because he's not a squirrel. Wait, okay, Pungorma's not a squirrel, right?
As far as I know, he's not a squirrel.
Okay, that's what I thought, but I just wanted to check.
Explains... He's a Pungorma.
Yeah, oh, of course. It's right there in the name. Anyways, the first battle with Pungorma, he makes us explode into jelly, which is fine, because, we had lots of meat on our person to put through the Afterlife's patented meat grinder in order to grow stronger. We also could use the teleporter to go back to Wayne's house and feed the squirrel and roaches some of their food that we bought to get some new shiny whack-a-ma things for better meat harvesting. Pretty standard RPG stuff. Anyways, after bouncing back from death, we proceed to break our collective feet off in Pungorma's dreadhole, which makes him realize the error of his ways in exploding us in the previous fight, and he decides to join our merry murder party.
Dreadhole, Jesus Christ.
Hey, Dread Knights have dreadholes. They're very dreaded. Have you seen what comes out of there? Ambulance skulls, mostly. Oh, and that's why Pungorma... Ancient Order. So Pungorma's patented ability in the first game is called Ancient Odor, and that makes sense. Ancient odors come out of his dreadhole. Thank you, Kay.
You're welcome.
And Pungorma also has domain over the ambulance skulls, so they will no longer be a problem when we do encounter them. Hooray! And now that we have all 4 members of our party, we proceed to start burning through paper cups and water coolers in order to increase our will, to better aid our ability to murder with more gestures. It's at this point that we run around, do some more flesh procuring from the unsuspecting populace, before I discover that if you're in a boat, in the overworld, and you go beyond the borders of the map, you find a vast, endless desert that will soft-lock your game and make you lose an hour of progress and have to go back and redo stuff, including the boss fight with Pungorma.
You found yourself in the shifting sands of Oz.
Who knew that Oz was right next to the Hylics archipelago? Like, this is a very interesting world.
It makes sense.
Does it though?
I mean, some of the creatures from the Oz books wouldn't be out of place in the Hylics world. Just saying.
That's fair. After my tears dry, I redo all of my hard gaming work, including more murdering and talking to another sage. This one is the Sage of Computers, who gives me a shiny token, because that is the key to enlightenment, or so I'm told. Now, with all of our past playthrough ground retreaded, we go back to do battle with that tentacled abomination I referenced earlier. We treat that horrible, horrible creature like our twisted plaything, and harvest the sweet, sweet RPG loot before moving onward. Onward back to the boat, where I'm very careful not to stray too far to the border of reality, but instead we find a dude in a chair guarding a button, who, if you're annoying to, he will bribe you with loot to leave him the hell alone. Which we do, after we're sure that we got all of the loot off of him.
You gotta get the paper cup.
And that's exactly right. We leave, but not before calming the mandibles as he suggested. Whatever the fuck that means.
Calm your mandibles.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Calm your mandibles. Anyways, mandibles calmed, we hop back into our boat and venture into a graveyard full of meat ghosts and an elaborate underground map puzzle. You only have to hit certain gravestones in this section, but my brand of psychosis requires me to press all of them, which I do, killing and being killed by meat ghosts along the way. Growing slightly stronger with each death, depending on the time in between them and how much meat I acquired in between each death, resulting in a rather steep diminishing returns. Anyways, newly reborn from the afterlife, we, you, me, us, Wayne, yes, that Wayne, we continue waning our way down the map, pushing gravestones and space shurikening some meat ghosts. After we've hit all of the graves, climbing all of the ladders, and hitting all of the buttons, and murdering all of the sacks of meat imprisoning ghosts, we enter the previously sealed door that I didn't mention earlier, and enter a tomb to proceed on our murder venture.
Oh, and there was a cat man there, too.
Oh yeah, and there was a cat man there, too. Catmandu.
Meow.
Murder venture continuing, we proceed to murder venture all over the denizens of the tomb and harvest their flesh and vegetables for our own purposes, just as you do in classic turn-based RPG fashion. After a couple of frustrating fights with these little Gumby-looking motherfuckers called tomb shrubs that just endlessly call in reinforcements, so if you're not quick enough to giving them the old flesh harvest, after the necessary murdering is done, we proceed to the lower level of the tomb and enter what is affectionately called the Hall of Deadly Statues. For what all of the deadly statues that ambush you and kill you with one touch in ambulant skull fashion, forcing you to Pac-Man your way around the arena trying to juke past statues, all while grabbing as much secret loot as you can and trying not to die, which you'll fail. I know I did. But failure, dear listener, leads to more failure and even more failure until failure gets bored and walks away, leaving you to bask in the glorious fumes of victory by attrition. Fumes which I, you, we, us, Wayne, yes, we, Wayne, we bask in them as we successfully outmaneuver the deadly statues and meet their master in the adjoining room, their master being the Sage of Death, who in classic sage fashion gives us another token, further guiding us towards our enlightenment. After procuring the token and leaving the sage, we avoid failure in the form of death statues and exit the tomb successfully, forcing us again to lock eyes with our narrator, Dracula, who ushers us into Act 3, with more random nonsensical gibberish dialogue, except this time, there's a cat.
It's a Wayne cat.
It is. Yes, it is a Wayne cat. Yes.
There are two kinds of cats.
There's two types of cats. There's yellow cats with Wayne heads, like crescent moon heads. And then there's weirdos crawling on the floor wearing cat costumes that say meow.
You know, they did it before Weber. The weird human body cat face. 2019 cats.
There's some secret lore that Andrew Lloyd Webber is actually secretly into indie RPG maker games, and that he played Hylics and was like, "This is brilliant.
This is how I must do my Universal Studios production of Cats. This is how I need to make the movie.
Put it on the big screen."
Thomas the Tank Engine Cat.
No, I don't.
Da, 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 da.
No. However, in classic RPG fashion, the new act comes with new stuff, and among them, these little towers we can now activate and call a nifty airship, which is like a boat from earlier, except not bound by the need for water to traverse, and so it comes to pass that we board this airship and set air sail back to our house to harvest more veggies and give a horse some food that we acquired, because we're cool like that. Except I quickly realized that I still need the boat for some spaces, or for some other places, because for some reason, the airship can't land on a boat dock. So we have to slum it on the boat one last time to go turn in our sage tokens to unlock the ultimate gesture that combines the wisdom of the Sage of Brains, the Sage of Computers, and the Sage of Death. Together, their powers combined from Captain Hylics, defender of the LSD Play-Doh experience.
So, one thing I forgot to point out, when we went back to Wayne's house, his cats multiplied.
I forgot about that.
Yes.
I might have blocked it out.
You start with one Wayne cat, just Wayne's cat. Then as soon as you get Dedismoln, that cat has kittens, somehow. You've also got, at Simsnosa's house, her cat. But then when you go back to Wayne's house, there's a third cat. And then by the time we have Pangorma, it's a cat and 3 kittens.
So what I think you're saying is that in this universe, they don't have the birds and the bees. Instead, they have the pussy and the Play-Doh.
Oh my god.
I think that's what you're saying.
You know...
So Kay is shaking their head no and face-palming with more hands and faces than I remember them having. Oh, I think the LSD is finally kicking in.
I'm not titling the episode that, though.
Pussy and Play-Doh?
I'm not titling the episode that. As tempting as it is.
LSD Play-Doh experience. I don't know. Anyways. The power of the Sage tokens combined with the TV to teach our merry band of murderers the ultimate magic of the Legend of Melting. Which, I mean, the Legend of Melting, really? Bisquick, please. I learned the Legend of Melting when I was a child playing with my little green army man and a magnifying glass. But I am from a bygone era, so I can't hold my elitist and privileged upbringing against these poor LSD-infused claytomatons. Instead, we hop back in the airship and head to the northmost point of the overworld, where we discover that we're actually rock stars, and we're given instruments and play an awesome show to a room full of adoring fans. And the listeners who haven't played the game or watched the stream have no idea if I'm telling the truth, because that is the least strange thing that has happened, and I could be trying to throw them off. Why, you ask? Because I'm a sick, twisted fuck, of course. Yes. Okay?
Yes.
Anyways. After spending time with the band's groupies, we hop back in our airship and head to a donut island where a friendly hot dog vendor offers to sell us a hot dog or a spaceship key, as food vendors are known to do. Unfortunately, we don't have enough money for the spaceship key, so instead we kill a random dude on the spaceship out of pure anger before leaving the useless to us right at this very moment in time ship, hopping on our more useful to us at this moment in time airship that is not a spaceship, and heading south to a mysterious tower where we're confused for being the new foreman at a work site and being given an industry-standard quiz, which we fail, and are forced to do battle with a man with claws, a claw man, who we proceed to aid in alleviating him of his pesky flesh and possessions. Yo,
God.
You have way too much flesh. Let me take some of that off your hands.
And
your claws.
There was originally a password, like an actual password for that, where you could get away with not killing him, and he was doomed by the code.
Yeah, so no matter what you answer, it's incorrect.
Yep.
I answered hope, and that was incorrect. My hope of not having to murder Clawman's claw face was
sorry,
dashed.
Clawman.
Yeah. And then he explodes right in front of you. After murdering the man made of claws, we go into the next area, and I sort of accidentally convert some poor dudes and tubes into sweet, sweet cash. Who knew the secret to unlimited money was people? Even though I have enough money to now buy the spaceship key, I need to push all the buttons and flip all the switches in-game. Makes me extract capital from more beings made of flesh, and I feel slightly bad about it.
Only slightly.
Oh, I didn't need all that money, but there were buttons left unpressed, Kay. You can't put buttons and switches in front of me in a video game and go, don't press them.
This is why, we are no longer allowed near honestly, like 50% of military installations, or like, we thought about doing a USO thing, and that, nope.
Wait.
What does this button do?
Wait. Tone Deaf, are you the show that has that idiot that has to push buttons? Why do you ask? Do you have buttons that need pushing? We're gonna pass. Shredding my guilt with a brief transition scene, we leave the area, board our airship, and leave our dark deeds behind us for other people to deal with. We, including you, me, and us, as Wayne, we fly around. Kay shows me a glitch where you can get infinite paper cups, but my brief hopes of unlimited cheesed power grow moldy and stale and are thrown away as Kay tells me that there are not infinite water coolers with which to take advantage of the infinite paper cup glitch.
Because otherwise Dedismoln would be even more broken in this game. Like,
otherwise
you can break them.
Otherwise it would just be ultimate ability after ultimate ability with no end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a item that we gave Dedismoln that's the parasite crystal, but you can find 2 of them. And they basically turn Dedismoln into the world's greatest wizard.
You lose like 25 health but gain like 200 will, so the exchange is negligible. So it's like, okay, yeah, he lost 50 health, but he gained 400 will.
Yeah.
So it's just like nuke after nuke with that guy. With my hallucinations of godhood liquefied before my very eyes, we leave, board our airship, and head to the nice hot dog vendor from earlier and procure the coveted and very expensive spaceship key. All so that we can fly to the moon and murder Gibby! Which we do. The end. Just kidding. Well, not really, but we'll go a little further. We do use our shiny new spaceship key with the odd, faint aroma of salty processed meat to fly to the moon, where the game proceeds to throw wave after wave of expendable NPC at us in a brief attempt to help me realize that my video game desire for overpowered godhood would actually not be fun, because the challenge and the possibility of failure are what make the taste of triumph so delightful. After we explode all of the king's men, we realize they're definitely not going to be put back together again, even if they are made of squishy clay. Instead, we frolic among the corpses as we loot all of the lootables and do our final equipping of instruments before we play the Song of Death and perform the rock opera of Lunarcidal Victory. Which we do, as we talk to a gibbering madman before liquefying more of the king's men and ultimately arriving at a dead/dying Dracula, who with his dying breath tells us to turn back. But lucky for us, there is one of those fancy magic teleportation crystals right behind Dracula, which we touch and activate, though I have a feeling we shan't be needing the use of it. Instead, we proceed to blast Gibby in the face over and over and over and over and over again. Who would have thought a final boss could take a hit? Not I, apparently. But lucky for me, us, you, we, Wayne, yes, that Wayne, who is using that stupid joke for the last final time, we, Wayne, and accompanying crew throw all the dynamite that we have in our possession at him, and it turns out that high explosives are highly effective. Sort of. But that's, but what's the point of having a pocket full of dynamite if you don't throw it at a king?
Exactly.
I bet if they had, wait, I don't know, they didn't have dynamite. I was going to make a stupid joke about, the American Revolutionary War, if they had dynamite, like throwing it at the king, but I don't know.
Yeah, no.
Anyways, with the aid of the mighty dynamite, but mostly the strength of our heroes and their various abilities and tactics I use, cause I'm top-tier ass gamer, we wrestle life away from the tyrannical king and kick him right in his stupid crater face. Also triggering a failsafe upon Gibby's death, which causes the moon to explode. But not before we're able to flee like the brave heroes that we are, tracking the king's fluids all throughout the palace as we escape and enter the epilogue dialogue. And so ends the tale of the modified Convalexities, who sought to falsify, for sort of arrogantly hydrated his platinum color. That is real dialogue.
Yes.
And as the epilogue dialogue ends, we find ourselves back on the mainland, and that dude in the chair from earlier who we harassed into giving us stuff, yeah, he's dead. collateral damage in the glorious regicidal revolution. His death will be the fertilizer for the seed of liberty. His name will live on forever in our hearts. Thank you, chair guy. Thank you for the stuff from earlier. Roll credits, Kay.
I could have done that funnier.
But yeah, so that's Warren's truncated synopsis of Hylics, the first one. And yeah, it's a wild game. It is kind of funny, like my playthrough was definitely, I don't want to say tainted, because that is totally the wrong thing to say. It was atypical, probably, because I had the ever-present eye of Kay the Korax watching me and guiding me, because the game doesn't really tell you what to do.
Yeah.
You very much can kind of go where you want to go, and it's not until you like hit an area you're like, oh, okay, I can't, I'm not strong enough to get past here, or whatever it is, and so it encourages you to just kind of wander around until you figure out what it is that you need to do.
Yeah.
But I didn't do that. I, like many, men of privilege, was able to siphon off the experience of other people who've done all the hard work, so that I had a rather breezy experience. But I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Because otherwise it would have been like a 10-hour playthrough as I'm like, what the fuck do I do? But instead, Kay was like, well, you could go here or you could go there. And you were really good in letting me like kind of do what I wanted to do. But then when I was like not sure what to do, you were like, well, you could go here or you could go there.
Yeah.
And then it was like, I think I want to go there. I want to go do that thing. But yeah, it's because I am excited to do Hylics 2. Because I have seen a playthrough of that game, so I do know that it is quite exceptional in terms of scope and scale.
Yes.
As it is a evolution of the first game, and like those mechanics and stuff like that, it takes that to the nth degree, and doesn't just try to do a sequel. It tries to really, I don't want to use the term revolutionize, but it absolutely takes that world and just ascends with it. Like it is, because it's a whole different thing. And definite props, like it baffles me that one person can make a game.
Yeah.
Like, it is a testament to how awesome the march of technology is towards the consumer level and like individual creators, because the fact that Mason Linroth made the whole first Hylics game by himself, and then in the second game he did just about everything, but he got Chuck Salamone to help with the composing and stuff and do a lot of the music with it, which I agree with that. No offense to Mason's music with the first Hylics, but there are several songs that make my ears hurt. Because
I do love Draw a Dog, though.
I mean, that where's it? How's it?
Bum, 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 bum.
See, that's perfectly fine.
I love that one so much. That's
melodic. It's got a tune to it. It's perfectly fine. But there's some songs and stuff like battle themes that are a little bit screechy and very I don't know, that just, I'm already musically challenged, so my music breaks down into two categories. Do my ear holes like it, or do my ear holes not like it? And there were some songs in the first game that my ear holes were not very fond of, but with the second game, my ear holes like that shit. But yeah, I really like in Hylics, and it's in Hylics 2 too, and hopefully in the third one. I don't know why you would deviate away from it, but your default attack is a snap.
It's so great.
And just the imagery of I just really, really like that. And so it's fun, like, if you're just kind of blitzing through some enemies and you're not using any special abilities, it's just snap, 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 dead, And so it's, that imagery is fun, and the artistic-ness of everything. The fact that it's done in claymation, I've never seen a game like that.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything quite like it. So definite bonus points for, originality and creativity. Yeah.
Yeah. And the character designs are so much fun. Like, both between the first and the second game. Like, when we get into the second game, there's some weird shit, and I love it. I love it so much.
Absolutely. And I know we have... So, for people listening who don't know, there is a third Hylics game currently in development by the creator, Mason Linroth, and I'll see it through K, but he will post... little snippets and stuff, like work in progress things, and the guy's skills have just, like, comparing stuff from Hylics 1 to even Hylics 2, but more recently stuff going on in Hylics 3, is just wild. Like, the evolution of stuff, it gets so freaking bonkers, man.
Yeah.
So incredibly surreal, and just, I use the term LSD a little bit too much, but I mean, I feel like if I dropped acid, it would make a lot more sense what those things are, because they're just otherworldly and beyond the scope of, I would say, rational, normal perception. Because there's just some weird shit, man.
Well, and in the third game, he's got his partner, Salem, working with him, and they also have a really good artistic eye, so seeing their combinations with some of these characters, like one of the ones that I showed you that had the heels, the high heels, I want to say that one was a collaborative character, and so I'm like, okay, I can't wait to see what this is.
Yeah, and just, of course, anybody, anything with claymation, stop motion, you have to do every single tiny little manipulation and then, take a picture and then blend them all together to make it look like it's moving. So with some of these characters and entities that are almost like flowing in their movement and stuff like that, I look at it and I'm just going, God, that was like 100 different times you had to move it slightly, move it slightly, move it slightly.
And some of those are a combination of clay and 3D modeling in the second game, and then in the third game, it is going to mostly be from Womp 3D, which is a free 3D program. I think it's free. I've played around with it a little bit, and then...
So did you steal it, Kay, or did you download it for free?
It's just... The one that I used was on the browser, so...
So did you steal it?
No.
Then it was free.
Well, yeah, but I don't know, like, if it's a trial thing or not.
I'm just being
Nothing is really free, but... But, no, like, the way that this has evolved, because even then, it's hard to tell, really, which ones are clay and which ones aren't, and the way that he sculpts things in these games, it's still... Like, even the 3D model ones look like they're made out of clay. Like, I don't know how Mason just constantly boggles my mind with his artistic abilities. I'm just like, dude, props.
Yeah, for sure, 100%. It is interesting too. I just had a random thought come to me. Was thinking about that just because I don't know Mason or anything like that, but using a medium physically like clay, it's very tactile. So just the process of discovery of playing with clay and then being like, oh, that looks like that could be a character's head, or that looks like that could be this thing or that thing, is probably a really interesting creative process when you're like absolutely blitzed out of your mind on LSD, like just playing with clay, being like,
which he did all of that 100% sober.
Yeah,
which is why I'm just like, dude, I dig.
That's what he says.
He did.
He's high on life,
on artistic vision.
He's high on artistic vision.
Maybe a little bit of sleep deprivation.
I mean, that goes hand in hand with the artistic vision. Yeah, I think any artists listening have had their share of late nights because they're like, inspiration has struck and I must see this through.
Yep, you've witnessed those very recently with me. And I with you, where we just go on manic writing sprees.
It's like, I don't care if I work tomorrow, I need to finish this.
Okay, what draft of this are you on? Shut up.
Yeah, yours is a little bit different than mine, but yeah. But, considering that we're a musical theater podcast, it is a bit of a deviation to talk about a video game, but it makes perfect sense because it leads into Absent Moon, which I'm excited to talk about.
I am so excited to talk about Absent Moon.
We have to get through a whole another game.
Grab my brain and you'll get it later, did cranial glom on my brain.
Cranial glom on my brain.
You'll get it later, and then you'll be mad that it exists.
Glom on my brain.
But, yeah, so, gosh, just trying to think of anything else to say without just going completely like, I love this game. The game itself is theatrical, like, because you've got it split up, Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. And it's... The way it's kind of set up with Dracula is almost like he is on a stage telling this story, because he's kind of your Homer. You're not that Homer, but Odyssey Homer.
Well, yeah, I mean, because he introduces the whole thing with his opening lines of gibberish, and then you go into Wayne, and then you have each of the act breaks where he gives you more gibberish, as if you're supposed to understand what he's saying before ushering you into the next section of the game. So it's very artistic. I keep coming back to that, keep saying it artistically, but yeah, it's very artistic in every facet.
It lends itself to theater in a way that you wouldn't expect from a video game. Like, if you had told me, oh, there's an Ark musical, I'd be like, okay, that's gonna be bleh.
Do you want to tame a dinosaur?
But then Hylics musical is like, oh yeah, fuck yeah, let's go. Let's fucking do this.
Do you want to pester a guy in a chair?
Which I think his name is Chair Guy. I think that's actually his name. But I'm glad that you enjoyed Hylics, and I'm really excited for us to do Hylics too, especially because we're gonna try to stream it. Don't know when. But follow the socials.
If well, at the very least, we'll post like a YouTube playthrough.
Yeah,
and
we'll
stuff
definitely
like that.
post a YouTube playthrough. But
I do, I am excited to do Hylics 2 because, and I'm excited to talk about that one just because, as I kind of already talked about, it's in a whole other tier on top of the first one, because the first one, from what I remember, was Mason Lindroth's first big project. He had done some other things that were smaller scale for kind of competition things or things like that. But Hylics was his first beginning end full project. Very experimental, very cool, a little rough around the edges and stuff like that. But then everything that he did to transition it to Hylics 2 just completely changed everything about the game. Well, I mean, not everything, still a turn-based RPG, but he also incorporates other genres of video games into it, which I was really blown away when I'd first seen stuff with that. Just dude put 4 different games in his game.
Yeah.
And I was like, that is just wild. And I can't imagine the amount of work that went into it. I mean, I know it took him 5 years to make a game, which oh man. It's I have those thoughts too of oh man, it'd be so cool to make a game. My mind is so full of ideas, you guys. But then I hear, 5 years to make it. And I go, fuck! On top of my full-time job? I don't think I could do that.
Oh man. Yeah, I'm really excited for Hylics 2. I also just adore the music in Hylics 2.
Yeah, the Chuck Salamone definitely is on fire with that music.
Yeah, and then later we'll go into that, because I do want to try and talk a little bit after we do Hylics 2 about the album that's kind of a companion to Hylics 2. That
Moon Age Lobotomy?
Yes, Moon Age Lobotomy. It's a little bit of a companion piece.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I get it.
But yeah, so
I need to be quiet because we're going to talk about it more.
Yes. I could talk about Hylics it's that joke of the what is it? I'm so glad you asked. You're going to regret this.
You've unlocked an unskippable cutscene.
You've unlocked an unskippable cutscene. That's how it feels when I get on this. But yeah, so thank you all for listening to this episode of Tone Deaf. Again, little weird that we're covering a video game, but it will make sense. If you haven't watched the playthrough that we did, I do suggest you check it out. But if you want to watch other ones, I do highly suggest Vinny Vinesauce, as well as Harry But Harry. That's like Harry the name, and then but the conjunction, and then Harry the name. But yeah, I highly recommend that. Also, if you want to know more about Hylics, I do really strongly recommend you check out Harry But Harry's videos, because they go in depth in a way that is way out of the scope of our podcast. But yeah, next episode, I'm not going to give a date on the next episode because Warren has to play Hylics too. But that will be coming out eventually in probably a month or two, depending on how the world shakes out. And then
the world could shake out, or it could shift and rearrange.
You know, there's no one that I would rather spend the accretion with than you.
Aww.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we'll get lucky and get merged into a horrible abomination.
That would be fucking sweet.
Right? And then we could be like, well, I don't want to be a boss fight because that means that we're going to die. I would much rather be an NPC that's like, here's a thing, go away. I'm going to pet myself. Not like the way I imagined it is like you took two people and you just like twisted them together, like if you took two different pieces of clay and just twisted them together. So like the right arm is my arm and it's petting the left shoulder, which is Kay's shoulder. Get your mind out of the accretion.
Anyway, so thank you all for listening. If you want to check out our social medias right now, the only ones that we're really active on anymore are Blue Sky and Instagram, because fuck Twitter and fuck Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
There, I said it.
Yep.
But you can find us there. You can also sometimes find me on Tumblr, also Tone Deaf Musical, when I remember to use Tumblr. You can also check out our website, tonedeafmusical.com. But that's it for this week. Thank you all for listening. We love you. I'm Kay.
I'm Warren.
And this has been Tone Deaf.